Hey, it's Juho with a Carcast or two. I've got all the time in the world to babble on in my car today because there's a public transportation strike today in Helsinki, where I live. So yeah, let's do a bunch of these. Last night was interesting. We had a big-ass webinar and had probably something like 1,000 people or 1,200 people trying to get on. Maybe 500-700 were able to get on, and when we got to the middle of it, long story short, the audio cut off. So basically the last half hour of a 90-minute webinar was without sound. So that was not great, especially since it was to support the big launch that we're doing. So not ideal, to say the least, because as you say, a webinar can make or break a launch too. But this is exactly the moment when you don't get overly dramatic, you don't overanalyze or lay blame on people or tech or circumstances, and especially you don't listen to people's complaints about it, because Jesus, you're there just to serve and you did your best. Anyway, the point is, the measure of an entrepreneur in a lot of situations is how quickly do you bounce back. You can make a lot of jokes about the entrepreneurial life. It's basically a series of knocks, and you land on your ass basically on a daily basis. So you have to kind of find a way to deal with that. And I also had an interesting phone call with a fellow named Pete Dunn, a sales coach, I believe is his main thing, but he kind of helped me through a couple of issues there regarding how do I work with teams and stuff like that. So especially when tough things like that happen, the entrepreneur really has not only just the possibility, but the obligation really to other people and themselves to seek out outside help. Because if you just try to solve it all in your head, it's only going to go so far, and you're already probably going through a record or two. So yeah, that's an interesting situation. So if you see that your business is going through a repeating cycle, that you're not getting the sales you want, you're not getting the attention you want, things are not quite working, or it's too much work, or whatever it is, then you probably need help. It might be me, it might be somebody else, but there's plenty of help. There's almost too much help. There's an overabundance of help online. But do seek out the people who sort of resonate with you, and don't leave it there. The worst thing I see people do is that they get discouraged and they just let it lie. And that's really something an entrepreneur cannot afford, especially if they have people on their payroll, or even if they're just responsible for their own family's well-being and whatnot. So don't let that happen. Anyway, first of many Carcasts today, I'm sure. Yeah, got a few things to say. Later.